Hey everybody, welcome. Alright, so today I'm doing another review. I did one last month for Mathilde's self-titled album. I want to do more of these on the channel, so I've been staying consistent with it. This month I've listened to another artist. I've actually been listening to her since November, right around the same time when I picked up Mathilde's album. She popped up on my Spotify. The album had ended. I don't know who I was listening to, but you know, when it does end, Spotify kind of goes on automatic mode and starts shuffling artists that sound similar. And the song Fire from this album came on, and I was floored by it. I am, of course, talking about Anna St. Louis. First songs off the Woodest Mare label. Again, this I believe was in November 2017. I don't know exactly the date that it dropped, but it was in that month. Fun fact, that label is associated with Kevin Morby, who is an artist that I just recently discovered. Vinyl Me Please sent me his album. He was an Essential Artist of the Month. It was the album City Music. And I wasn't sure what to expect, and I fell in love with that album. And to know that she's, you know, associated with the label and with him, I don't know, it just made me feel like the world is like super small. Like, it's so cool to know that she's on that label. She's out here in LA now, but she's from somewhere else. I forgot exactly where. Not from St. Louis. But she was involved in like the punk scene there, which actually made a lot of sense to me once I've read that and I've listened to the album. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I can kind of see a bit of it. And I don't know exactly how much it influenced her songwriting and her delivery and the music itself, but there's a certain like, and I guess that's also true with folk music in general, because punk and folk kind of have similarities to them. Both sort of grassroots, play on this idea of authenticity like no other. Like, if you're not authentic with the music that you're writing when it comes to punk or folk, people will see right through that. And I didn't get that with her. I honestly felt that her lyrics and her delivery and the music was sincere, it was honest. I thought it was exactly what I needed to hear. And I stray away from some like newer punk music or even like folk, you know, because it's, I want to say it's not authentic, but it sounds like a stereotype. It sounds like what folk music was like stereotype to sound like, and they kind of stick with that, and that kind of becomes dull and boring. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hear that in punk music a lot, where the band will come out and they're trying to be punk, and it's not something you try to be. You work within a certain framework. It's more of your, like, where your mind is, how you feel about it, and how you want to project that is up to you. But when you start taking things that sound like other people's and you try to incorporate this overall generalization for it, it kills it. At least for me, I don't know. I didn't get that with her. I feel like she delivers her own signature and her own style to it that makes it fun and entertaining and just beautiful overall. Like, she's obviously like a talented musician as well, because she's strumming on that guitar. She's picking it, and she's also, you know, playing the chords at the same time. At the same time, but she's playing chords and she's picking them. She's traveling up and down the neck. There's a lot going on, and there's some electric guitar on there. There's some acoustic. All of it is sort of just warm and without sounding too cheesy. And I want to sound cheesy, so brace yourselves. It's like one just big hug. It embraces you. It kind of brings you in, and it holds you through the whole album. It's been super overcast and cloudy out here in Southern California, where usually it's like 100 degrees by 8 a.m. It's been cold and bitter, and I don't know. I like the weather, but it's been kind of, you know, sad. And this album, when I put it on, is just this nice little bit of sunshine. It warms me up and it makes me feel really good. I've been listening to it heading home. When I first listened to it, I heard it on Spotify or whatever. It came on. I took the screenshot, and I drove home and I listened to it, and I was just blown away. And it kind of just became a routine where I would listen to it, and it would kind of cheer me up and just put me in a really good place. So I think that's really important. when it comes to music. You know, if it does something for you emotionally and it kind of alters your state of mind or your mood, that's a very powerful thing. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way she delivers her music, her vocals. It's something about how she plays with the music with her voice that I think it sounds effortless, which keeps just boggling my mind because I can't understand how it could be. I wouldn't have thought to deliver a melody like the way she does with her voice over the music itself. So like her approach, every time I think I know where she's gonna go, she switches it up on me and she'll start singing in a higher octave, or she'll start adding a little bit of a twang to her voice. She's got a bit of a country twang to it, to her voice, that I thought was really cool too, that I think really helped her music out when she really wants to, I don't know, get a certain emotion out. But overall, I mean, the way she looks on this picture, I think is a perfect representation of the music itself. She's got this look of intensity on her, but she's also kind of relaxed and kind of laid back, and she's kind of, you know, in a position where she's not even facing us directly, she's just looking over, which kind of I think represents the lyrics a lot because they're very descriptive. She's trying to tell you a story and it kind of puts you in the moment, but she's doing it in a way where she's allowing you to sort of have this voyeuristic view into her mind, into her world, into her life, but at the same time at a distance. And she's fully aware of that. Maybe I'm looking into it too much. Maybe I'm diving into my film critic background here with some of the stuff that I took in school, film theory in particular. But to look at a picture and to analyze it and to look at it, I mean, this wasn't just put on there because it looks pretty. I mean, it could have, but that's the purpose of great art. If it was intentionally put on there just to be pretty and to make it look nice, cool, mission accomplished. But again, if it's great art, it'll keep you thinking, it'll make you connect things. And a great example, a current example, is Childish Gambino's "This Is America." Like, damn, there was so much to that music video that just it just blew out of nowhere, right? So yeah, I mean, I can see all that in the music now that I listen to it, now that I look back, and even the way that the whole thing is laid out. Like, I really love this label. When you're on Spotify, this is what it looks like exactly, and I thought that was really cool because I don't ever see this part attached to like the picture. So you literally get what you see. You get what you see what you get. There we go. Wow, I'm not having a stroke. I promise you. I'm having a hard time speaking here. I get excited and I just it all comes out at once. But yeah, I thought that was just interesting. It has like a nostalgic vintage look to it, the way the label has been put together. But yeah, initially again I listened to Fire and then I heard Keep Walking, and that kind of has a bit more of a I don't know, just more energy to it. It could potentially be like a single they can hear on the radio. All of these I potentially think could be put on the radio, but you know how the radio is. Like, they'll go with like that song, and I think that has the potential of like being that song. But if I had to be like, if I had to pick one song on this album that I just keep coming back to, that I'm head over heels in love with, is Mercy. This song is, I think, is perfect. Every time it comes on, the chorus and the way she sings it, it's kind of sad because I feel she's asking, you know, and she's pleading, and I don't know, it's relatable. I feel. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but all of her music sounds relatable, and there's an element of humanity to it that I think only folk music can really put out there. So for her to pick up the guitar and to want to make these songs and put it out there is honestly just an amazing gift, and thank you for releasing this. So I mean, yeah, in a nutshell, that's kind of how I felt initially. That's the stuff that I valued the most. I'm not gonna grade these albums. I've been debating whether I should or not. That means if I did grade these, that I would be comparing them to other shit, and that's not fair to her, because this album It stands on its own. It has its own 2 feet, and it has its own mind and existence, and it deserves to be treated as that. So I'm just gonna tell you what I think. If you decide to go out there and get it, everything will be linked in the description below. Support that will mean a lot to her and even to me, because that means that more music will come out, and I get to enjoy more of her beautiful voice and her just artistic mind. But there it is. I hope that makes sense. I know it's kind of like scattered everywhere, but those are my honest feelings about the album. I honestly couldn't think of anything that I thought was wrong about it, you know. And you'll hear it when you'll see that when you hear it. Definitely. And if you're into her music, have a conversation with me in the comments. I want to hear what you thought, what I missed. I want to revisit it with a different perspective. That's the great thing about this platform and music, is the sharing ability of it and talking about it. So, as always, everything is down in the description. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you guys on the next one.